Hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to tackle a biggie. I say it's a biggie, it's one that a lot of people seem to fear. But once you've mastered it and you know what to do, it is the most fantastic way of doing a beaded rope. So we're going to be looking at CRAW today, or cubic right angle weave. And you can actually see, if you look at the gold ones here in the center, you can see the little four. It's groups of 4 beads making up a little square. So I'm going to try and show you today how to conquer your fears and how to get going with CRAW. For the purposes of the demo today, I'm going to use 2 different colors, and I'm using 2 slightly different size beads as well. I've got some 3mm fire polish here, and I've got some Miyuki size 8 seed beads. In these pieces here, you'll see I've used predominantly the same color rather than mixing it up. I just think it would be easier to show you how it works using 2 different colors. You could be using 11s, you could be using 15s, you could be using 8s, you could be using your fire polish, and you can go up to a 4mm, so you could even try this CRAW, cubic right angle weave, with a 4mm bicone. Before we get going with beads, I thought I'd do a demo on the iPad because we all learn in different ways, so this may help some of you. I've got 2 different colours mapped out here, and we're doing cubic right angle weave, so we're building cubes to form a beaded rope, and each time we pick up beads or go through beads, we'll be going through 4 at a time. So I'm going to start in the center, and these are my 4 beads that are going to form the base of my cube. So I'm going to take my thread through all 4 beads and back through that first one again. And I do apologize if it looks like I haven't quite gone through the center of the bead. My fingers are a bit fatter than going through the beads, so I may miss one, but you'll get the general idea. So there's my base, my foundation, my floor of my cube. I'm now going to start building the walls, and I'm going to come through that first one. I'm going to pick up a side, a ceiling, and a side, and I'm going to come back through that base bead. So I've picked up 1, 2, 3, and I've gone through the 4th one, always going through 4 beads. Before I pick up any more, I need to continue around that foundation and through the next foundation bead. Ready to do the next side of my cube. So I'm going to pick up a side bead, pick up a ceiling, and I've got a side already there from the previous round. I go through that side and back through that base bead again. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Move forward around the foundation, and we're going to pick up a side, a ceiling, use the side from the one before and continue round back through the base. So we've got our 4 again, move through to the last bead in our original 4 that formed the foundation, and you'll see I've got side beads either side there. So I'm going to use them to connect it all together. I go through the side, pick up a ceiling, down through the side on the other side to join them all together, and back through the base. Now these will all lie flat until you come back up and you want to be exiting through a ceiling bead, and you'll see when I do it, I actually reinforce those 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 ceiling beads, because they then become the base for the next layer of your cube on your beaded rope. Let's put that into practice with beads now. So I'm going to use the fire polish beads as my base beads, my foundation beads and my ceiling beads, and the black size 8 Miyukis are going to be my sides. So I'm going to start off by picking up 4 of my foundation beads, and I'm going to move them down to the end of my thread. Now if you're going to turn this into a bracelet, leave yourself a 20 centimeter tail, because you can then use that tail to add on one side of your clasp. Pass the needle back through all 4 of your beads, coming from the base to the top, And to complete our first little cross or square of beads, you're going to come back through that very first one you added. And when you pull it into place, you've got your first little set of 4. Right, it's time to start building those sides. So we're going to pick up a side, a ceiling, and a side, and we're going to come back through that same foundation bead. But can you see my thread is exiting from the right, and I'm coming back through that bead from the left. Before I pick up any more beads, I've got to come through the next foundation bead. Ready to do another side, I'm going to pick up a side, a ceiling, when it decides to jump on the needle, and I've already got a black bead there that forms my other side. So I've picked up 2 and I go through the side from the one before and back through the base bead as well. So there's my 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and if I pull my thread tight, you can see those walls already wanting to come up. So before I pick up any more beads, I'm going to move through the next silver bead that formed the original base, pick up a side, a ceiling. I'm using the side from before and back through the original base. So I've got 3 little sides there now, and I've got 1 more base bead on its own here, so I need to pass the needle through there. And I'm going to be using these side beads now, so this is where it will all start to come up and start forming that rope. So I'm going to come up through that side bead. I need to pick up a ceiling and come down through the other side and back through the base to make up my 4. And I'm going to pull it through, and as I pull it through, you see how that pulls up? And it's the start of my cubic right angle weave. But I now need my needle to be exiting the top. So I'm coming up through one of the side beads, and I'm going to go through one of these original ceilings. And these 4 silver beads have now become my new foundation or my new base. And what I tend to do is I just go through all of them without picking up any beads, sorry. It just reinforces them and brings them all together so that I know, especially when you're using beads that are the same color, it can be tricky to see which ones are going to form your foundation or your base. So if you just take your needle, pass your needle through all of those, it brings them all together and it forms that rigid foundation and that little cross ready for you to start again. So we're back to the beginning where we're going to form our first side of this foundation bead at the top here. So we're going to pick up a black, pick up a silver, and pick up a black, and we go back through the same bead from the opposite direction. Now you can see I've changed because I went the other way around the base beads. I'm now beading the other way. So it doesn't matter as long as you keep following the right way that the thread is going. So if I pull that through, there's my first side. And before I pick up any more beads, I need to pass the needle through the next one. I'm following the direction of the thread, so through the next base bead. Pick up a side, a ceiling, and I'm going to be using that side from before, and I'm heading through that base bead. Before you pick up any more beads, through the next silver one, and you're going to pick up a side and a ceiling, or a black and a silver, and you're going to use the black from the round before and go through that original base. I'm now left with my last one in the 4, so I come through the base bead. I really hope you're able to see this because there's not much for me to hold on to at the moment. Up through that side, or through the black, pick up a ceiling or a silver and come down through the other side. And just to complete that 4, we need to go back through that original base bead there. Remember, I now need to get to the top of my cubic right angle weave, so I'm going to come up through an 8, and I'm now going to just reinforce this top ring of the fire polish, which form my new 4 for the next little cube. And before I go on, I'm going to pop it down on the mat so that you can hopefully see these little cubes that are forming or starting to form the beaded rope. Right, so there's my top 4 reinforced. I'll just come through these 2 as well, make sure I've gone through all of them. And if I pop this down on the mat, you can quite clearly see the 4 that are making up those little cubes. You've got a black, a silver, a black, a silver, a black, a silver, a black, a silver, and you're always borrowing from the round before. So let's do one more here. So I'm exiting from one of the silver beads. These are my new base. I'm going to pick up a black, a silver, a black, and I need to come back through the same base bead from the opposite direction. Before you pick up any more beads, travel on through the next bead or silver bead that formed your base. So now we're picking up 2. So we're picking up a black and a silver. We're borrowing the black from the round before and going through the same silver. That's my 4. Before you pick up any more, you travel through or pass your needle through the next silver. Pick up a black and a silver, borrow the black from the time before and back through the same silver that your thread is exiting from. And we now come to the last one in our round of 4, but we need to travel through the base bead first, through the foundation bead, and we're using the sides that are already there. So up through the black, pick up a silver, and down through the black on the other side to join all the edges together of your cube. There we go. And to finish off, you're going to pass through the silver, and you need to make your way up to the top, so up through one of those black beads or the side beads, and then you're just going to reinforce the top. Now, like with all seed beading, this is very repetitive, so it's the same steps over and over again. If you need to stop, rewind, go back, look at it again, please do so, but I'm not going to continue because it would get boring if you've already cracked this and you've smashed the technique. So there you have your cubic right angle weave, and I'm just going to bring the others back into shot so that you can see. Totally different effect using the 2 colours, but once you've got that and you know what you're doing, you can see there are my 4 on the top again, you can try and use similar colours so that you've got this lovely beaded chain effect as a beaded rope. Good luck and enjoy, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.